You know, but in terms of it was a bit challenging, you know, to be in the story and be out of the story at the same time. I didn't the circumstance, you know, the circumstance that took me out of Jonathan's government. My loyalty was brought into question, you know, and I was asked to go because they were no longer comfortable with me being in government, which is, you know, which is fine because when you take a position, you should expect the consequences, you know, so it was fine. But at the same time, I didn't want anyone to think that it was a bad belly thing, you know, to say, oh, because sour grape, because you were kicked out of that government, so you're writing a book. And as a matter of fact, even that happened. When the book was announced, even before the first copy came out of the press, people had concluded, just seeing the title, had concluded that it was a book written by an APC spokesman to attack Jonathan, who sacked him. Yeah, you know? Yeah. And an amazing thing happened, the like of which I had never seen in my life. People were writing a full review of this book, even before the book came out of the press. Wow. They already concluded what is in the book. At that time, the only person who had access to the manuscript was my friend, the owner of Cable, Simon Kolawole, right? So he was doing some snippets, he was publishing some snippets from it. And based on those snippets, people were writing a full review of the book and concluding in their mind that it was a book written to attack, to fire back, as it were. So I think they were sort of surprised. Many people who have read the book were, in a way, pleasantly, I would say, surprised that they didn't see the kind of fire that they were expecting, you know, because it wasn't intended to attack anybody or to, you know, and as you could see, I tried to conceal the identities of so many people who told me stories that they didn't want published, you know. So for me, it was a bit to the extent that my journalism background permitted me, you know, or prepared me for. You know, I felt I was able to navigate the landmines as the way to say.
It does really tell, I mean, this story of Nigerian history, I mean, contemporary history, very well. As somebody who reviews books and critiques books, I really have to ask you this. Shukbo has a book titled A Platter of Gold.
Yeah.
Yours is on a platter of gold. Yes. And we all got confused when we saw this. We saw what was going on.
Actually, I've read Shukbo Sashore's book. I think it's a fantastic book.
It is.
Anyone looking for primary sources on Nigerian history should read that book. I've read it, and I think it's a fantastic book. I don't think the connotation of his own title is the same as mine. I've read that book. I still don't know why he called it Platter of Gold.
You hadn't seen it before you had your own title?
No, I saw it. I saw it. But I called mine On a Platter of Gold in an attempt to say that President Jonathan didn't fight for the presidency.
He got it on.
He got it on a platter of gold. It's in that context that I use the title On a Platter of Gold. Okay. You know, and it was actually, the idea actually came from his wife, interestingly.
Jonathan's wife?
Jonathan's wife. Oh. Right? If you look at it here, she said, the presidency.
That's page
one.
Yeah.
Page one. He said, the presidency is an opportunity that fell onto us on a platter of gold. We didn't fight, we didn't pay. God willed it to us. Patience Jonathan, June 2013. She said it's in Port Harcourt, right? So this is where I got my own title from. Even though I was aware of Shukbo Sashore's brilliant book, yeah. You know, but I didn't think
his own context was how Nigeria got
independence without having to fight, like so. Yeah.
What does it take to write a book like this?
A lot.
What does it take to? Were you documenting a lot during your time in government? How important were you journaling a lot?
Interestingly, I wasn't. It's incredible how much resources are out there on the internet. Incredible, incredible resources are out there on the internet if you have the patience to search. You know, that is one. Two, people have written books. People have written books, and you can ride on their back, you know, to learn as much as you can. You know, books about Boko Haram, books about, you know, Second Republic. Bolaige wrote a book, People, Power, and Politics. You know, all kind of books that people have written about Nigerian politics. That's two. Three, because of the privilege that I have, you know, to play in the political circle, I have access to so many people, you know, so I had opportunity to sit down with them in conversations, you know, to talk to them. So they told me a lot of things that they would ordinarily not say in public, you know, and all that, on both sides of the political divides, you know, because I have friends on both sides of the political divide, and many people were willing to assist me and they talked to me, they gave me all kind of insights, you know, and all kind of information that I could use. Of course, some have also relocated in the aftermath of 2015 election, so I had to chase them down wherever they were. I had to chase some people as far as the United Kingdom, you know, like the former Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Abba. You know, I had to track him down and listen to his story, you know, about the events 48 hours after the election of 2015. You know, those critical, difficult moments for Nigeria. You know, so I think a lot went into this. The field work, research, interviews, and all that. After writing this book, I told myself, never again. I can't. Not going to write no, I'm not. I told myself I would never put myself through this, because when I was writing this, sometimes I found myself working 14 hours, 15 hours non-stop, you know. So it was a really grueling experience. And the kind of book that I wrote here is not a book you just write what comes to your head. You have to piece stories together. You have to compare this. If this is this, then why is this like this? What, then if this is this, then this. You
quite
know.
a lot of work.
So you
know
what I'm saying? It was. Thank you very much.
Quite a lot of work you put in there. But I suspect you will write on that one.
Yes, I think someone said it's like a woman who just came out of the labor room. She will say, "Oh, never again." But very soon you see her.
And the fourth.
You know.
Well, thank you, madam. Thank you for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you. Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.